Hey everyone, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel, Tara Talks Books, where we talk everything bookish. So I really enjoy books with really good banter. It's one of my favorite things in them. I do read a lot of books that have the hate to love trope, which I think lends itself well to like having good banter. So quite a few of these books will be the hate to love trope as well. So if you want to see the books I chose that have amazing banter, just keep watching. So the first one I have is Seatmate by Cara Bastone. This one is about Gwen and Sam, and they are seatmates on a bus going from Boston to New York City. They start chatting and things progress through the bus ride. They have some really good banter back and forth with each other. It just feels like it's flawless as they like just meet on the bus, and then they really have this like good connection and this back and forth that I really enjoyed. It was adorable. It made me laugh out loud. It is a sweet, make you smile romantic comedy. It is fade to black, and there is the road trip element to it as well. I definitely enjoyed also the audiobook production of this book. So it's just overall a really fun book, and if you have Audible, it's one of the Audible originals. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. The next one I have is Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. So this one follows Reggie as she answers like a newspaper ad for a job. She ends up thinking that it's like a card company or like a playing card company that she really enjoys, and so she thinks this is a wonderful opportunity, but she's actually answering an ad for to be a familiar for a witch, and she ends up going to the interview, getting the job, and just thinking that the older lady that she is working for is just eccentric and that she just thinks she's a witch. Come to find out she actually is one, and it goes from there. She does have like it's like her nephew, and he comes and he's like, hey, she knows nothing about being a familiar and she cannot be your familiar. He's really against her having no knowledge of witchcraft because usually familiars have some knowledge of it. And so he is telling his aunt, like, please don't let her be it. Like, he's very against it, but she's like, nope, she's staying. I really like her. And so they obviously get off on the wrong foot. So there's this aspect of like, or there's kind of like the trope aspect of hate to love. And they do have to team up together. Reggie and Ben have to team up together to kind of solve this mystery that ends up happening. And there is a fun scene with like, a crystal ball, and then there's a fun black cat, and it kind of goes from there. They have really great banter back and forth, and this is just a really fun book to read like during the October spooky season as well, especially if you're looking for a fun witchy romance with excellent banter. The next one I have is From Luke Off with Love by Mariana Zapata. This one follows Jasmine, and she is a figure skater. So like her window is closing to compete in ice skating. And so this is going to be kind of like her last season of it. And then there's Luke Off, and Luke Off is in need of an ice skating partner. And he really can't find one. He can't keep one. And so I think it's his manager. His manager ends up asking Jasmine to be his partner, and they do come and they do work together, but they definitely get off on like the wrong foot. There's kind of been this like competition between them two for many years. They grew up in the same ice skating gym. They've done like competed with each other from kids going up, and it kind of goes from there. So they do end up, like I said, partnering together, and they definitely start off with some like banter as they're ice skating. They're like whispering in each other's ear, and like it will be like either like funny things or like sometimes not nice things, and it goes from there. And it's really just a fun aspect of that book. They do obviously grow to become partners and obviously fall in love. It is a romance. It's just like a sports romance, hate to love. And then it also has the wonderful banter back and forth. I really enjoyed this one, and I definitely want to read more from Mariana Zapata. The next one I have is Kiss My Cupcake by Helena Hunting. This is another like rivals to lovers. They're like business rivals. They are both opening shops next to each other. She's opening like a cupcake and like fun booze shop. And he is reopening like his bar, and it's going to be like an axe throwing bar. He is reopening it because it was his grandpa's, and then he inherited it, so he wanted to like give it like a revamp. They end up having their opening nights on the same night, and of course that obviously kind of sets them off on the wrong foot, especially the female main character. She's really frustrated by this because she's put all of her, hard work into opening this business, and she just kind of thinks that he's taking, all of her business, and that it's similar because they both serve drinks. And it goes from there. I do really enjoy it because they kind of do things to each other to like make their life a little bit harder. There is also this like banter back and forth. He will come into the cupcake shop or her cupcake shop and order a cupcake, and like he absolutely loves it, but he like can't give it to her. So it goes from there. I think it's funny. It's definitely fun because they do end up starting to work together to kind of build their businesses, and obviously the relationship ensues from there. But I really do love their banter back and forth. It was a lot of fun, and then their antics with each other was a lot of fun. So this is another good one if you enjoy like business rivals to lovers and banter. So the next one I have is Well Met by Jen DeLuca. This one is again another hate to love romantic comedy. So this one follows Emily, and she moves to her sister's small town to kind of help her. Her sister was in like an accident and like hurt her leg, and she has like a high school age daughter, so she's kind of helping her like go back and forth to school and like help her sister out. So she goes to this small town, and she ends up getting roped into like the local Renaissance fair that like the townspeople as well as like the school put on together. And of course she ends up kind of like butting heads with Simon, who is like the leader of the Renaissance fair. He like runs it, and he helps run it, and he's also a teacher at the school, and it kind of goes from there. They actually have like really fun banter, especially in their Renaissance characters. So obviously she ends up volunteering with her niece at the Renaissance fair, and he is in the Renaissance fair as well. And so they have this banter, especially when they're in characters, which I thought was really fun. I just loved the Renaissance fair setting. At times, it just made me like giggle out loud with its cuteness. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I just loved their back and forth banter, especially when they were in characters, because then she started to think like, is he really flirting with me, or is he in character? And it kind of goes from there. So I really enjoyed it. This is another one that I really love. The next one I have is Herwick and Marquess by Stacey Reed. This one is obviously historical romance. This follows Marianne Fitzwilliam. She's considered witty and bookish for the time period, so she's struggling to find a husband. And in this time, her parents are going to like make her wed a man that's like old enough to be her father, and she just does not want that to happen. So she kind of concocts like this plan. She ends up seeing the Marquess of Rothbury, Nicholas St. Ives, coming out the window of chamber at a house party. And so she ends up saying it's hers to kind of ruin her reputation, even though it wasn't. And so he kind of goes along with it for reasons of his own. And so she ends up doing that to kind of ruin her reputation, so that the gentleman who wants to marry her kind of like is like, no, I'm not going to do it because her reputation is ruined. So her plan ends up not working, and her parents end up holding her to the marriage plan, and they're just like, nope, you're going to get married. Her and the Marquess kind of have to think of this way out of it, create an even bigger scandal so that there's no way that she, will be forced to get married. I loved this book. It's the first one in the Sinful Wallflower series. or excuse me, the second one in the Sinful Wallflower series. It's absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed the tension and chemistry between Nicholas and Marianne. They had wonderful banter back and forth throughout the book. I just loved it so much. It was just such fun. So anyways, this is an excellent one. Definitely check it out. If you have never read a Stacey Reid, please do. They are all amazing. Next one I have is Right Where I Want You by Jessica Hawkins. This one is a good enemies to lovers workplace romance. So Georgiana is hired like as a consultant at like Sebastian's work to help clean up the magazine's image and bring in a new readership. Sebastian and the magazine have like this playboy reputation. So when Georgiana comes to help, she is like considered enemy number one because they think the magazine, or well, Sebastian and like the magazine team think she's there to like change everything. But she's just there to help. They actually like meet in the very beginning of the book, right before their meeting of each other, and they get off on the wrong foot. It goes from there. I really enjoyed their banter in this book. They obviously have to work in close proximity because they have to work together to basically help his reputation and then help the magazine's reputation. So I really loved that aspect, as well as I loved that there's like Georgiana's dog is a big aspect, a big part of the book. So anyways, it was an excellent book. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun enemies to lovers workplace romance with excellent banter. Next one I have is another historical romance, and that is The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. This is obviously part of the Bridgerton series. I believe, yes, it's number 2 in the series. I have a whole video of this book because I love it so much. But this follows the oldest brother, Anthony, in the Bridgerton family, and he is out to look for a wife. He's finally decided, okay, it's my time to settle down. I need to find a wife. But I'm just looking for a viscountess, not somebody to fall in love with. I just need a viscountess. Lo and behold, him and Kate, who he is trying to win Kate's sister's hand in marriage. Like basically he's trying to court her. But Kate is blocking him at every count because he's considered a rake. And so she's like, no, you're not going to make my sister happy. You're not going to be able to court her, basically, because I know you're not going to make her happy because you're a rake. And it goes from there. They obviously butt heads, and it is just such a fun story. And obviously with amazing banter, because he's blocking her from doing this. He's like, no, I'm going to do it. But they end up obviously forming a romance and falling in love. This is such a lovely book. I will leave in the cards above my whole thoughts on this book. I did like a comparison between the show and the book, and it goes over more of that. But this is so much fun, and I just love Kate and Anthony's story, and I love the banter in it. And last but not least, the one that started it all for me is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is the first book that I can remember when I started reading again, like avidly reading again, that had that hate to love, that banter. And it just made me love, one, the trope hate to love, and two, that the banter between the couple. So this one is about Lucy and Josh, and they are like co-assistants for like, I think it's like a publishing or book. Yeah, I think it's like a book publishing company. So their bosses co-run the business. And so they are kind of always at odds with each other. They kind of do little things to annoy each other. But then it comes to a head because now there's a job position opening up where only one of them can get it. And it's like a promotion. So they are obviously put head to head together, and they both want the position. And it goes from there. So I really enjoyed it. I loved that, like, Josh is almost like a pining hero, like secret pining. So that's fun. And I really just loved Lucy's like spunkiness. again, this is the one that started it all for me. I read this and I was like, oh, I don't know what that trope is, but I love it. And I soon found out, and I found more books, more amazing books, one with the hate to love and two with that banter. I just love when characters like can go back and forth and head to head with each other. And it's just so much fun. Like in the book, it makes me smile, it makes me, laugh out loud. And so I just really enjoy it. So those are all the books that I've read that I can think of with A+ banter. Let me know if you have any suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to hear any books that have excellent banter in it. I'm always on the lookout for it. Like and subscribe if you'd like to. Bye.